to that fight and pick it up in round number 2. Second round action, a very impressive first round from the man in the green trunks, undefeated Chris Byrd, the former U.S. Olympian who was trained by his dad, Joe, who also was the coach of the U.S. team in Barcelona. And Byrd trying to frustrate Waxxem Fikes, who is looking to load up and hit Byrd with that one shot. Byrd turning his back, and now you see him, now you don't. What Byrd's trying to do is to add the weight and the power as a pro without sacrificing the speed, which made him such an outstanding amateur.
And he says he still has that speed. Between rounds, his father, Joe Byrd, terrific trainer, was the amateur trainer. And he told him between rounds, he said, don't get hit with one of those wild bombs that Waxxem is now throwing. Waxxem more punches this round, the opening part of this round. Chris comes back with a nice crisp combination. It was a crisp combination.
There's the time remaining in the second. This is scheduled for 8.
But they want you to throw criss-cross combinations, one fist in front of the other. Good combinations. Again, straight punches from Chris Byrd. Fikes tries to go to the outside, but he's beat to the punch inside by Byrd. Byrd-like moves from Chris. And Waxxem-like moves from Fikes.
You would think that this is a risky fight for Chris Byrd after just 5 professional fights. Why do you think he is taking on a Waxxem Fikes so early in his career?
Well, the number one reason is because he believes he can beat him. Chris Byrd's still learning to fight as a professional, and if you take a look, some of the things he's looking at, look at Chris, still has not broken a sweat in this fight. That would be something that would really concern me if I were Chris or his dad. When you're in a fight like this, Chris has been active the first couple of rounds. He should be sweating more. For Waxxem Fikes, he is having so much trouble with the speed of Byrd. Chris, he can't hit. And every time he tries to swing, he loads up. Chris Byrd throws combinations like that.
Byrd very cool, calculated.
Yeah, you cannot get depressed, though. I mean, you can't get confused or upset about not hitting somebody like Chris Byrd. He moves too fast, and you have to punch in combinations. Here's a look at some of the speed of Chris Byrd. Look at these punches. Not a lot of power on these, but these are what the punches that are frustrating Waxxem Fikes. Waxxem moving into a lot of those. Now, Waxxem Fikes cannot get discouraged. He can't stand outside. Must move right in and start still trying to land those bombs. One thing he may try to do, it's more difficult for a young fighter to move his body than it is his head. So you go downstairs to the body for a couple of rounds, and it slows the head movement and the foot movement down.
The Matador move by Chris Byrd, the 24-year-old out of Flint, Michigan. Silver medal winner for the U.S. in the 92 Olympics, coached by his dad, Joe. And I guess whenever his dad, Joe's not available, his mom, Rose, takes over some of the training duties. It is a family of fighters. Tim is a light heavyweight who's 8-0. Patrick, a junior middleweight, undefeated at 5-0. Joe Jr., retired light heavyweight. Ronnie is unbeaten at 130 pounds, but retired after an automobile accident. And now Waxxem Fikes trying to get his man up against the ropes. Matter of fact, in the family, there's one sister who played pro basketball in Europe. Another's a state trooper with boxing aspirations. So it's the battling Byrds. Halfway through round number 3. It's scheduled for 8.
And it has taken 3 rounds for Fikes to get Byrd's back against the ropes. This is where he should be scoring and scoring heavily.
Byrd looking what he can do. The uppercut working, and there is the rat-a-tat-tat. Swing and a miss by Fikes. Trying to wax him, but Byrd is just not there for it. The Byrd springs those wings. And on the inside where you'd think it was advantage Fikes, it's Byrd scoring. There's the no-look punch by Charles Byrd. Very interesting young fighter in a division that desperately needs some interesting young fighters to come along. Byrd not affected by any of the shots by Fikes.
Watch out, guys.
Ooh, the uppercut by Byrd. Oh, wobbly is Fikes with 20 seconds left.
Good combination from Byrd. Speed is power.
Yep.
Chris Byrd knows that.
And a great example of it right here in this fight. Byrd has elected to stand in and trade, and you see why he's decided to do just that.
In the story with his punches, beating Waxxem Fikes on the inside. He boxed in that second round, then here in this third round, he peppered him on the inside. Fikes knows only one way to fight, and that is nose to nose, but he got blocked. Beaten to the punch. When you're in there with a fast fighter like Byrd, you got to pick it up. You got to pick your punches up. You have to force them out there faster. Take a little of the power off of it for a while and worry about the speed. Concentrate on the speed.
Fikes is the kind of guy, Sean, who has that macho attitude, and this fight has to be driving him crazy because Chris Byrd is just playing with him, and he can't do anything about it.
Oh, yeah, he'd love it if Chris Byrd would just stand still and let him hit. Chris?
One every fighter like to have his opponent just stand still and let him hit him. But Fikes keeps on coming forward.
Byrd this round showing us a variety of styles. In that last round he stood toe-to-toe, but this round he's moving more. Also the southpaw stance of Chris Byrd may be giving Fikes some trouble. Fikes may be a bit confused. That's hard to realize that somebody like Waxxem Fikes might be confused. I mean, look at this guy. Do you think he looks confused?
Not at all.
No.
That's exactly what I would tell him to his face. Not at all.
I wouldn't know. Now trying to go downstairs. You got to go downstairs for a few rounds on a fighter like Chris Byrd. He's too good. He's too elusive. Oh, straight left hand.
And Chris Byrd now following up. Turns it up. He is all offense now. Waxxem Fikes in deep trouble.
Getting whacked.
Now Byrd steps back. Oh! Slips in the uppercut. There's the time remaining in the fourth.
The left hand, Chris Byrd said he's working on his power, settling down more on his punches, putting more weight behind it. And there it is.
Dale Grable, the referee, looking in. Waxxem Fikes taking everything from Byrd, but still on his feet. Chris Byrd teeing off. Waxxem Fikes still stays on his feet.